All right. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, April 15th, 16th, 14th?
Mid-teens of April.
We're
2021. It's definitely
somewhere
Wednesday.
around there.
Yeah. We're here. We're going back into this is the first time we looked at free throws. We're back looking at the end with a second set of free throws, and we're going to go back and look at them again, starting with Yoko Nage. Aruba just hit the camera, so.
Put me more in frame.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that. There we go.
So I do think last time we did Yoko Nage, we did Sail, raw noise. I think they got that. I don't think they need to go through that torture again. I think, just to actually kind of work in some of the stuff we did, the prior week, kind of this arm bar and this protecting and these arm throws from the Setsuyaku. Let's look at Setsuyaku, because we can then, I think we can throw Yoko Nage in there too.
There's a lot of internal consistency that we can find there. A lot of the same rules that make like that classical version of it work are the same things that make Yoko Nage work, are the same things that make our last kata or Hoteki work.
Yeah.
I think that this is great. If they can get these principles, let's really explore it. Let's open the throttle and try a few things.
Yeah, I want them to kind of open up the aperture a little bit from the last time that they did it and see me, we'll see it from different angles. We'll more creative, be more really comfortable doing, especially this throw. I think that's the goal this time around. It's like really make them comfortable so they have it in their toolbox and they can just execute it whenever they want.
Ultimately, to me, it comes back again to just feeling it and knowing what it's like to just fully commit to this. And if you follow these simple 3 rules, judo players hate him.
Yeah, right.
Let's work from there. I think that's a cool spot.
I'm feeling you. Let's go. All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Okay, so tonight we're going to look over, kind of going back over those 3 that we just looked at: Yoko Nage, Marigo, and Yoko Nage. So we're going to go with Marigo tonight. I did you a massive favor and using the cut that we put to this before with Sail. If everyone remembers that, was it good looking out? We're taking that one out. I'm actually going to show another cut, not permanently, but figuring, let's give you guys a little bit of break. Sail is pretty simple kata. The point is the point. Put all on pain, throw to the ground. We're putting in Snowstorm. Yeah, look at that. Setsuyaku. I was going to say something. Setsuyaku. And so this is basically probably one of the greatest translations that we have. Snow Sparkle. Yeah. Now, this one, Setsuyaku, is from Shirin Kuyu, Dr. Kaijitsu, Tenokaka, the Heaven Zone, the first set of forms. Taught multiple different ways. I've seen it probably a dozen different ways. There's common delineators. It can be a really nice, easy takedown. It can be a decent little throw. It can be a hell of a nasty throw. All right, but getting to it is pretty much the same. It's the ending that really kind of changes. Now we'll show a couple different versions of it, and you'll see this actually looks and feels a lot like Hoteki, except from the inside. Okay, has that same altering of the arm. All right, so you're doing from the inside this time. We kind of touched on it, that same, but it also has like a little bit of a Yoko Nage kind of feel to it too. But it will also, you'll see it has can be a variety of structure. So this map. So we're going to start with that tonight, and then we're going to go ahead and actually show throw the Yoko Nage in there, either as a counter or potentially as an alternative menu to this counter. Okay? So simple start. He's going to come on. He's going to right lunging punch. And we have this Jodan Yuki. Okay, I'm not trying to blow his arm away because I actually want to get that arm. So I got this Jodan Yuki blow. From here, and this is again where some of the stuff changes. The way I was originally taught, you come in here and you go for the eyes, and I was told that's the sparkle. That's the snow sparkle. All right, but we're going to kind of go to another version right now that's a little bit just easier to kind of pull up and warm up. Jodan Yuki here. I'm going to come in, capture this hand in this forelock here, start turning it out, and as I do, I'm going to blast up into this arm here, levering this. So, turning again here, and then boom, pulling this right up, pulling this down, getting it right on his toes. That's that same Hoteki feel, but we're on the inside now. Boom, here. So I've got this turned to the standard torque method from here. Being nice. All right, because now I'm going to take Matt down. And if Matt goes down wrong, that's a bad arm for him. I'm going to step behind him. Just take him down to the ground. All right, again, really kind of relieving the pressure on that arm as he goes down. Yes, can I go? Yeah, sure. Right, last watch. Yeah. Here. Stepping down. 1, 2. We'll hit at the same time. From here, step behind. Drop him down. All right. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. All right. This is called the. What is it? What we're doing? Anybody else want to feel it? See it one more time. Good to go. Good. Okay. Oh. Left watch. Oh. Look at you guys probably accidentally done this. Or actually just didn't know how to make it. Snow sparkle. All right, go ahead.
Mate, really quick, Mr. Mac, nice, good. Because this is something that we were talking about with Pecky, I want to make sure we have this as well. So that same punch is coming in. What I'm noticing a little bit is that folks are kind of putting this arm here. And if you'll notice, Matt's not very uncomfortable. And then we're applying, right? Okay, now it starts getting comfortable. Now, I want this to be another double action. This entrance is meant to break his arm, just like with Hotep. Pow! We want this to be an active component of what we're doing. That makes life a little bit easier, so we can step right behind him. Double action, not, there's my fulcrum and I'm pulling something around it. Now we're taking it. He goes. No choice. Keep going.
So, Mate, just a couple quick points. Right? Okay. First part comes in. The oar lock is not here. I'm not on top of the chin. I can't rotate his hand enough to get to there. So as that comes in, I need to get my hand here. So I can get him turned like this. So I need to get the oar lock here or I won't get it. I don't start to, I don't have enough rotation. So as this comes out, I need to find this oar lock here. Now, depending on the person, if it comes like this, it's very easy. You know, but I have this time to kind of transition in to find it, to get that. So now his arm is strengthened, lengthened, you know, and turned to the port on this axis. Okay? As that happens, I'm blasting up here, kind of with my forearm elbow, boom. As I'm pushing and twisting this under, here, getting to almost like that. So, turning, twisting, boom. So again, you can see if his arm was not here, not enough. This hand is coming under, up, driving. So he's on his toes. I have him. So again, in, under, boom. From here, I'm just going to walk behind him. If you don't have them on their toes, the takedown will be difficult. So again, that hustle, that twisting, up. All right, just like that whole example we had last week. All right, go ahead. Mate, I've seen a bunch of people do this. This is kind of common. You guys are being nice, and so it's happening. You're coming in here, this is happening, boom, and you're keeping this hand here to be nice human beings. But the problem is I haven't affected Adam. Then I go to the takedown, and just I work for it, he just slips out. You know, it just doesn't work. This is being pushed under, note the reaction on him, rotated, twisted, pushed under this arm, he's up on his toes. Now it's easy. People are letting off that way too early. Let off it when they start to fall. All right? But people are getting to here, they're starting, and they're like, okay. You can't take him back. Get back on balance. This stays till the point everything starts falling. All right? Keep that in there. It'll make the rest of it actually so much easier. It's not, it won't hurt them if you let go when they fall.
Mate, really quick, we've had a good question, but it's something I've observed kind of going around, which is where we're applying the force. And I'm seeing a lot of folks, they're getting the wrist, they're getting the rotation, but then their entrance is up here, underneath like the shoulder and tricep. It looks like so. And what happens is, I have 85% of this, but it's enough for him to resist. and it's enough for him to feel safe. I don't want him going to Pentecostal church. I don't want him saved. All right, we're going right up under the elbow. Yeah, instead I want him holding snakes. I want him holding snakes. So come in under the elbow. Yeah, I want. By the time you have entered, they should already be ready to tap. We should know that that sucker's on. If we don't have that, if I'm here underneath the tricep and shoulder, he can try to rotate behind me and get a little bit of bend in the elbow. And now the situation is very different. We're going to explore where we go here in a minute. But before we do that,
I want to give you a point. You guys had a conversation with Lynn. Exactly. We'll deal with people who are taller. Traction environments, ladies. Yeah. And I literally can't, I just physically can't pick him up enough. So there's a couple things. One, I can put more pressure on this and drive him up this way. Use this more as a lever than this. Or what if they got big meatballs? It's just my hand getting around my hand is just hard. So I can size. This comes in. Both of them. Keep this locked with the arm.
the point of contact is still under my elbow.
Right. This has now just gone here. Help this out. And so now I can still get the same effect. But now I'm using this hand as opposed to here. Still pushing up, but still in there. Okay? Alrighty.
Very cool. So in the vein of throws that take us to the ground here a little bit, this round is kind of hard. We're going to do a little variation as temake. This right grab comes in, we're working in, and we're going for the same entrance, except now what's going to happen is as I apply and get him here, I'm almost like literally going to put this hand behind my head. I want to make sure that this is tight. What I'm going to do, this is going to push, this is going to pull, and I'm going to sit right down and drive and right to the ground here. From here, there's all sorts of cool ground places you can go, but essentially, the technique now is here.
That's it. Like you're starting into a backward roll.
Yep, just like starting to back roll. So you can see. Here we go. And this should feel like him getting shut down. I'm not just hugging this and falling backward. I am actively pulling against the elbow and I'm actively pushing this arm as we do this movement. He should feel, thank you very much, he should still feel just as locked up as we were a moment ago. Questions? Does anybody need to see or feel? See? Who likes feel? All right. I had a feeling you might. Here we go. Here's that push. Here's that pull. Right here. From here, there's a few different places you can go. For right now, all I'm going to do is sneak my head to the other side of the elbow and lay right on it. That's it. Questions? Yes, sir.
Is there a moment where we're training the person probably has to let go or is there that tension on?
The nice, you'll kind of feel it. You can generally, if we sort of know what's going on and you want to be gentle here, because we are kind of driving them down on their face. That's the other part. As we go, I can kind of release here a little bit. If we want to be kind of gentle, we can release here. If you have the control, which I hope that you do, and I'm actually pretty confident that you all do, maintain it. But you can always relax it if there's a safety concern. If you're the person getting dropped to the ground, please let your partner know if you'd like to take a little easier on you. We do beat up on each other's elbows a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily as this is coming in and I'm jamming up in here, boom. This arm that's dragging him down with his body weight, that is happening, don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to move. And I want you to see what happens to him as I push this arm out. So this pull, which is coming down, this is important. That gets him going halfway. So the grappling means here. He's leaning that way. Now I just put my body, I'm pushing him with this. Now I put my body into it. That drives him down faster. If you're like this too, be careful though. Because if I go into this, he can wiggle out of this a little bit more. Yeah. He can turn it on his shoulder. I want to make sure his face is driven in. Still want this. Oh, now. Boom. That is a broken arm, that is a guarantee, that is a busted face. And if for some reason his arm isn't broken, it's going to be broken right now, I can tell you. There's no doubt. Okay? So just focus on not just this side taking down. What does this side do? How does that actually help almost start the move?
The double action still exists.
Still exists, still there. We're just changing it to this way now. Okay, my turn. What's wrong? I don't get the hand for some reason. I kind of come before I get it. Actually, let's look at the sparkly version. So it's going to end here. All right, because if something happens, I don't really get this, my grip is messed up. Don't have it. I don't have it here. It's here. I can probably still power through this and take him down, but I'm giving him an opening. He's going to take that opening. Boom. I'm here. I come in now. He steps out with that football. Breathe. Strip him down and he won't say, now he's going that way. Going back in front. All right, so we have this angle. This starts. He's putting himself in position. We'll look at maybe going down to our legs and stuff like that in the future. Just go slow so that it's in the going up. So one. I get in there. Don't have it. Boom. I try to force it through. He steps out. First steps behind me. Keeping this right to me. Right here. I'm just going to vacate out and turn almost like it was a tie coach. Literally almost exactly like it was a tie coach. Step out, release that hip. Poof.
This is actually tie coach.
Or you call it tie coach. Yeah. I like to refer to these arm ones as Yoko Nage and stuff like that, just because it concentrates this is more of an arm-based throw. All right, we can come in here and actually change the angle. We can come in here, and you can actually try to do more of a right go throw. Well, let's look at the eye coach. Okay, good.
Follow that note from you, if I can, we'll talk about that too. Yes, please. So one of the things that I'm seeing happen is, hey, okay, cool, we messed this up, whatever. They're coming around, and they got behind us. What I don't want to do is I don't want to leave this behind. Even if I rotate to the proper spot, if I don't take this with me, he's still on balance. If I'm out of the way, you can see he still kind of has his come up. Most of the time when I'm seeing this go, I'm going to use the words catastrophically bad because I like,
Drama.
I like it dramatic, Instead of letting this go, take this with you. Very different story. Second note, and we're not going to get into this so much because it kind of requires you to be a little ahead of the game, but Heidi, you brought up an interesting thing, which is, what about a moment in time? If you're starting to apply this, and they're in the air, and you can catch them in that little moment in the air, you can stop them from ever even getting a solid base from which to work. You can absolutely catch them there early on, if you're sensitive to what's going on. If you're sensitive to what's going on. If, you went for this and they stepped behind you and they got their feet down before you rotated out, you'll still be okay. But be aware that if you catch that little bit of timing as they're still transitioning, you'll actually have a little bit of extra zip on your ass. So, everyone likes a little zip on your ass, right? Quick catch on your burgers, guys. Let's have some fun.
So, Martha, another option. With this sort of kind of wrap around aspect. It wraps around me. Oh, wait, yeah. We've been looking at this stuff out, thinking about it. But you just can't. There's a wall there or something. Like, I can't do that step out. But I still have this arm. I'm going to put my right leg right with me. His legs. As I kind of put them up on my head. Stick them straight down. Right in front of me. Not as much of a rotation, it's more of an up and over. Right hand same way. So kind of almost like more of a variety of pathway that we try to bring you home. But I'm not actually trying to do. So in between the legs, just dropping, he's being pulled onto your back, going over now. Alright. For smaller people, it's really easier to get rid of person too. Yeah, because it's like, oh, maybe too far. Yeah, and they get that other arm, and they have that other arm wrapped around you too, like I just on the end of you went. So, yeah. Here, I got the wrapped arm right around you. So I kind of feel like I can't separate. I can, but it's like, oh man, this is like really big and burly, and oh my god. Now I'm right in that same position, but I've been in the protector, been in this, but now it's on the ground. And this is a lot worse on the ground. This is the easiest break in the world. Okay, so try to version. All you're doing is getting that, and here, step between that leg, drop down to that knee. Rotating down. Okay, give it a shot.
See, you know what's funny? That one's This is the I'm Jackie, Lynn, Heidi versus Adam idea. Same start. Here we go. He's behind us. If you're not really sure where your feet are and things are a little rough, and you just want to get this done, you can drop right back to both knees, almost like you're going to shoot right behind him, and he's going to come down like so. That is option 2. Same idea. Instead of ending here, we're just ending here. So you'll have that as another option to bring them down. Both are valid. If you're smaller and you're struggling with this, feel free to try drop both knees and let your weight take it. Yeah? Keep going.
Could you do that again?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Throw him facing this way to the camera to see.
Sure, I'm so out of walk facing.
What? Oh, sorry. I must borrow you again. Here we go. Whoop, and we're gonna. There we go. All right, there's the camera. So here we are. So option 1, taking him this way, coming forward. It's option 1. Come back up. Option 2. I'm almost going to kind of lead with my left because I want to get behind him and underneath. And that's option 2. Yeah? Questions? No. Okay.
So Mate,
The one that I
so one of the reasons I like this, so I've got Lynn, is like you have this whole arm tied right to you. You know, if you have it tied to you with pain and pressure, even better, a lot easier to control. But in the end, having this arm, she basically now has a 180-pound arm that wants to work independently of itself. Can you imagine going through life with a 180-pound arm that just wants to go anywhere that it wants to go? That is a problem. This is your friend right now. Because you have her arm, you can control her shoulder, you have weight on it. You get to do whatever you want. But also too, you gotta remember, her arm, since it's now you're part of it, is reflective of your angle. Okay? So if I go like this one, then it doesn't affect it, but if I press down, now we have things. Now we have things we can use. This doesn't have to be a lot of things, be a lot of issues. We have total control of her upper body because we are now 180-pound arm. So love this. This is your lifeline right here. Yeah. And use that, but recognize the fact that you're kind of joined with that person for that moment. You know, you have that. Great. If I'm leaning over like this, if I'm down here like this, guess what? That means that arm is like this. Guess what? That means you're over there. Does that make sense? So acknowledge that. Don't just try to rip them down. Acknowledge the fact that you guys have merged for a second. And you have a lot of control over this person. A lot of control. All right? Good.
You actually have to file your taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're claiming your arm as a dependent. I want to So this kata, we can teach this all weekend. There's so many ways. We haven't even looked at coming off the kata and actually looking at the wrist options. We kind of, these guys, we start playing with karate dosh and stuff like that, and go to other versions of the throws and everything. We'll look at that more on Saturday. Alternate endings when this arm kind of breaks down, what we can do, and more options when it doesn't break down. But I want to look at Yoko Nage, because it's right in here. So we're doing the same start, same thing. This kind of comes in, boom, I get it back, screw it, get it. He steps, instead of stepping behind me, he steps out that way. Look, yeah, just trying to yank your arm out. Like, oh no. Look at the Yoko Nage in there. Oh, not lean right into it. So you're going to here. The shoulder needs to get down to that foot. And I need to be facing that way. I have all this. Now, you guys have done Yoko Nage before. Don't land on your elbow. Don't have to have your hand under your ribs on the side. You will land on it. And it won't hurt your ribs. You guys, I know the angle looks weird, trust me. It's actually a very easy approach. Exactly. There. Start up there. If you have a ponytail, you can use that. It's actually really nice. Alright. So again, one more time slow. I'm not there. I come on in. I did get this. I tried to force it through. Oh, she stepped herself out. She's trying to catch me to yank that arm out. Shifting in. I'm shifting and getting this thing, alternating this turn. Getting it from right here. Still have those from here because I'm back this thing up. Roll this over. It looks a little more difficult because you have about another 45 degrees that you have to go on this than you normally do. But in the end, you're still getting to the same place. I would suggest feel your way there. Trying to do that in that angle, mathematically, very hard. Just say, I'm going to get this shoulder down there. Roll them up, just like this we were talking about before. Get that jelly roll, back going on them. Get on it. You guys have all done this stuff. I know you can do this. All right, Trev? So mate. There's a reason I said lean, because you're actually in a great position already for your hips with Yoko Nage. He's here. Remember, if we were just like a regular Yoko Nage, I'm here. I actually have to get my hips out and over to kind of come down into this. Remember we worked on that all last time? Like I can't do it here. So I do it here. He's going to go over my legs. He's going to go over my hips. I'm not going to get the throat. I need to get myself out here to then go into it. Remember that? Well, in this situation, I'm already there. Look, I've gotten him. Look, my hips are already out here. I don't want to bring it back in because I have to bring it back out. So I'm saying, lean in to grab this. Start the rotation of the pull. My hips are already in place. Now just complete the whole thing. But don't go back inside. You don't need to. You don't want to. Just lean in to get that side. Your hips are actually already in a perfect location. You want to see what I'm saying? Okay, good. Just go mention it to everybody real quick.
It's slow.
No. This is a hard angle. Samante. Show them that. You up for it? You sure? Jack, you up for it? I know the most sensitive walk I've ever seen. Like, I know, I'm ready. So what we're talking about is like, okay, I am actually getting here. Well, I got it here. All right? Man, I got to turn myself back to her in air, try to find that spot. That's hard. It's like shooting, shooting in the dark. As long as I'm not shooting in the dark. The very first thing when I talked about Yoko Nage weeks ago was this arm. And I just don't think you guys are kind of ready to hear it at that point in time. I think you are now. If this arm, drop straight down, I'm in position. My distancing is good. My line is good. Right? Now, obviously, Jackie's going to be going around this arm. Right? She's going to be going around this arm, correct? You see that? But if she stands up and we make this 2D, this is where I am. So, if I'm here, well, I know where this arm has to go. If this arm doesn't touch her, I'm obviously too far out. If I go like this, I'm obviously too far out, but I've never touched her. So I use the feel for the distance. And I can tell if I go out and I'm touching an arm, well, I'm obviously way too far out. I need to get right down this leg. That's the alignment. And I find that as I go. As I go, this arm drops, okay? This feels good? Yeah, this feels good. Make that circle. I can judge my distance in and out from her. I can judge the alignment of where this goes to the foot, because that's her structure. I use this to find the full way. That makes sense. So as you're going down, fold in the other side. Feel what this arm does. That's the right spot. It'll bring you to the right spot.
You'll feel their thigh right all the way along your arm.
Yeah. And you feel it. It's like, oh, I'm going to make this spot. And you'll be able to make those, so just feel that. I'm going to put my arm down her side. And then we'll get there. That way, that's how you can find that positioning as you're going in and turning around, because you know where you're feeling and you feel good. And that will actually adjust your distance. You won't be out too far, because you're up too far. You're not touching her. Right? You're going to get close. All right. All right. Couple more minutes. It's a lot. Good night. A lot of butts over tea kettles today.
Mate. So come on in. So a couple of come on in, guys. I know we're starting to get a little bit tired, but we got a couple questions, and I thought it'd be good to maybe answer them really fast. A couple little things. You talked about, is this fast? Is it not fast? What is it? It kind of happens quickly, but there's difference between fast and sudden. You could do this fast, and if, for example, you're going down in like little bits, even if you do it fast, they had all the time in the world to adjust to your weight as you kind of graduated it, as more of you fell to the earth. But if instead your leg shot out and it was all of your weight all at once, that's sudden. Even if you do that slowly, which is kind of hard to do. This requires a certain degree of commitment, guys. Like let's just be honest about it. It requires some commitment. But your feet go out and you're just all of a sudden dropping. They're all of a sudden trying to catch, for me, 195-pound trim rotating bag of cement.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're just holding something and then it's 200 pounds. Yeah. That is sudden. When you're working on this throw, if you're falling in the right position, you're sudden about it, and you have some rotation, you're probably going to get it. You're probably going to get it. Those are ultimately the elements that make this throw successful. All the other stuff, we can add all sorts of buttons and switches to this, but ultimately, this is a green go button, and boop, you're down, you're gone. That's it. That's the idea. So that's just kind of, did that answer your question? Yes. What other questions do we have tonight on this throw? Anything else that's sort of come up? Clarifications, questions? Okay, that's it for me. What's that?
Where are you grabbing them when you throw them? I had this thing where I kept putting Lynn in a headlock, and that was a weirdo.
So,
but she went down.
It works.
Yeah, it does work. So actually, we're not going to do this, but you can have grabs here. You can have grabs here. You can even have this. If you do this, you're going to drive their head into the ground and paralyze them for life. So it's kind of a hard one to practice.
Yeah, we don't work that one until a little later.
You can do it from here. You can do it from here.
You can do it anywhere.
You can do it from here. But all of these things only work because you were sudden and you fell in the right spot and you rotated, you kept them tight. That's what makes them work. So what I don't want to do is say, if you use this grip, it will work every time. That's not the case. The best grip is the one that's in front of you.
And you got to know what you're trying to impart on the person. It's very easy to go in and do a Yoko Nage. You think it's technically perfect, but if they're not receiving that energy correctly, you won't be able to pull it off. So we kind of go over the same verses over and over and over again, so you can kind of get the feeling of the movement, and then say, okay, now you're going from this angle, and that was kind of today. You know the movement, you know the feeling you're supposed to have, you know the feeling of the throw, but go at it from this angle now. Go at it from over here now, and try to make give them the same feeling. And I was talking with these guys, I think one thing I want to do Saturday is kind of open it up a little bit, because as I say, prove the point that Yoko Nage is kind of everywhere. Any position, any type of thing, and basically go into like, I just sold the coffee and then get out of it, going through this and then get out of it. Basically any type of weird kind of like, you try something and it fails. See if you can find Yoko Nage. I almost guarantee it will be there in one form or another. You just may not have to, you have to actually say, oh, I have to do this instead. I have to enter it this way. That's one of the reasons I want to teach it, and I think you guys have gotten more and more comfortable with it. When you first started, you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And now it's like, oh, okay. I mean, once you know it, I almost gonna be like, you'll love it. It's so easy to pull off.
The nice thing about any kind of throw that you classify as a sacrifice throw is that you set your trajectory and then you just hit the go button.
Yeah.
There's really a lot of stuff happens in the intermediary time there from up to down, but a lot of it's kind of automatic and based on what you've already set up. So it's kind of a nice technique in that sense. It's sort of simple, but yeah, it's intimidating to look at. Certainly when you first start learning it, it's like I gotta be lucky.
And you just imagine, you guys know, I mean, you guys know how to roll. I mean, you pull this on somebody who has no idea what's going on. This is a destructive throw.
This bounces like hell.
Yeah, this is and we're nice on mats. I mean, this on concrete or something like that. That's okay. That fight's done. A lot of probably other things were done to that person for a long time.
Eating
Like
without
eating, like
spoon.
eating and talking and
Most snaps.
yeah, it's a tough one, but it's everywhere. It's one of those ones like to me, this is like the kind of like the multi-actual throw. It's everywhere. You can almost always get it. Oh, your ass is going down. So so Saturday we're going to look at more options on the kata, and then also too we're going to look at Yoko Nage from different angles, different approaches, stuff like that. So you guys can really kind of see like, oh, I can do this from anywhere. Like a chocolate cheese book. I can do Yoko Nage from here. I can do Yoko Nage from there. I can do it in the air. All that stuff. All right. So yeah, it'll be fun. Great job. All right. Anything else? Nice work, guys. Good job. Good job.
Oh, you're all wound up.